Have you ever wondered why pleasure and maybe addiction feel so closely linked? Why the same brain system that rewards things like love, food, sex also seems to fuel drug abuse or compulsive shopping, even just, screen addiction. Today on the deep dive, we're really pulling back the curtain on this. We're looking at Dr. David J. Linden's book, The Compass of Pleasure, Dopamine and Desire. Our goal is to kind of give you a shortcut to understanding that really nagging question: why can't I stop, even when I know it's bad for me?
Yeah, and right at the heart of all this is dopamine. It gets called the pleasure chemical all the time, right? But Linden makes this really crucial clarification. Dopamine isn't really about feeling pleasure, it actually fuels desire. It's
Right.
that drive, the urge to seek things out, to pursue, to want more. What's really key here is that the dopamine surge happens before we get the reward, not
Yeah.
during. It's all about the anticipation.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's the wanting, not the liking necessarily.
Exactly. It's the powerful pull towards the thing, not the satisfaction you get from it. And that helps explain why, we often keep chasing things even after that initial thrill starts to fade.
That really reframes it. So if it's the anticipation,
Hmm.
how does Linden show this same system works for such different things? You mentioned sugar, sex, heroin.
Well, that's what's so striking. Linden points out this universality, whether it's that first bite of chocolate or the warmth of connection or even the rush from gambling. All these very different pleasurable experiences light up the exact same core pathway. It's the mesolimbic dopamine system. Think of it as the brain's main reward circuit. It evolved to push us toward things needed for survival.
Okay, a universal reward circuit. But if it's constantly getting hit, what happens then? Does Linden get into why that pursuit can sometimes go off the rails?
He does, and that's the critical twist, really. It's the idea of tolerance. This exact same system, when you stimulate it again and again, it actually starts to, well, it dulls the response. You need more stimulus, a bigger hit, just to feel that same initial thrill.
Uh-huh. Right. Like needing more coffee just to feel awake.
Precisely. Or think about binge watching a show. That first episode feels amazing, but by day 3, that constant seeking for a reward that feels less and less rewarding, that's tolerance building up. It happens with drugs, sure, but also work, shopping, your phone.
And it's not just about like the obvious addictions, is it? I remember Linden talking down the whole addictive personality idea. So it's less about someone being weak-willed and more brain chemistry.
Exactly right. Genetics can nudge things one way or another, definitely. But Linden really emphasizes things like trauma, chronic stress, even just the cues in our environment. They all significantly impact how sensitive our reward system is. He sees addiction not as a moral failing, but as a brain condition. It's tied to how these desire circuits react and how our prefrontal cortex or control center struggles to manage them when they're sort of overloaded.
Okay, connecting that to evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains rewarded survival stuff, eating, bonding, finding new things. But today's world is full of what Linden calls super stimuli. What does he mean by that exactly?
Super stimuli are basically experiences that are way more intense, often artificially concentrated, and super easy to get. Think about a bag of perfectly engineered chips versus, I don't know, finding some berries. Or the endless curated scroll of social media compared to like a real conversation. Our ancient brain circuits designed for scarcity just get overwhelmed by this constant flood. It can lead to chronic stress, maybe even feeling emotionally numb because the system just can't keep up.
Which leads to a really practical point Linden makes. He talks about the difference between those quick dopamine hits and deeper satisfaction.
Yeah.
How does he suggest we find more sustainable well-being?
Well, he argues that things like having a sense of purpose, genuine connection with other people, or engaging in creative activities, these things activate the reward circuits too, but in a different, more sustainable way. It's
Yeah.
not about chasing that fleeting high that always needs topping up. It's about building real fulfillment.
The compass of pleasure really does give you a map through the brain's desire pathways. It shows how addiction can take hold, but also why modern life feels so stimulating, maybe overstimulating.
It's a fascinating tour, definitely.
So armed with this kind of understanding of desire, dopamine, tolerance.
This video is presented by International Psychology Association. Follow us for more psychology updates.